Saturday on Simon's Trading Channel. Thank you for joining me and welcome. Welcome one and all. It's lovely to have you with me. Now, as promised, today's video is going to be a little bit different. So I will do just a minute or so on the price action of Bitcoin today, although it's not exactly exciting. But this really is just to embrace AI and how you can use it really to make a trading strategy or an investment strategy, depending on how you kind of approach these things. So I'll just show you how it works. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to use it or not. So let's just say I've purposely got Bitstamp here on a weekly so you can see the entire history of Bitcoin and its magnificence up and to the right. So let's just say and this is the difference between you can buy and hold, right? So if you're not really interested in the timing of, so I would be talking now about investing. So if you're not particularly interested in timing the market, right, and you just think, yeah, Bitcoin's good, it's been making loads of money in the last decade and a bit, I'll have some. Well, then you just buy it whenever, forget about it, leave it for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, come back to it, you'll have more money, right? And that's great, you know, it's like a sort of passive investment strategy. Nothing wrong with that. Clearly you have to make sure you're doing that in the right investable asset though. If, however, you want to be slightly more nuanced, but not particularly, you know, crazy technical analysis, then you might think to yourself, well, yeah, I want to do that. I want to just buy some and then forget about it for a while. But I want to kind of enter in, I want to choose the time that would appear to be a good time to buy rather than a bad time to buy. So as you can see here on this whole history of Bitcoin, I mean, none of it's a bad time to buy, but say, for example, for the short term, if you bought here, yeah, you'd be in the red for a while before you then went into the black. If you bought here, yeah, you'd be in the red for a while. In fact, you'd be in the red for a good few years, right, before you made any profit. If you bought here, same thing, you'd be in the red for a while. If you bought here or here, same thing, right? So this is for people who want to kind of time their investments a bit better. And there are many ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you how AI can help. Now, for people who are not particularly au fait with TradingView, this is a TradingView screen. I've got a TradingView account, and most of what you see is free, right? You can set it up with an email address, no issues. You can pay to get more, so if you want more stuff, you can pay. And it's not massively expensive, but there's like a monthly fee. Or you can just pay for a year and save on the sort of monthly subscription, which is what I do. Anyway, so let's say, for example, you wanted to use a very traditional moving average based sort of trend assessment, all right? So the SMA is a simple moving average. Moving average simple. If you just throw one of those on your chart, it appears up here once you've put it on, and then you'll see a number next to it. So this is the settings, and the length is 9. So that means 9 time periods, and therefore on a weekly trading screen, this is 9 weeks. And all that does is it averages out the price over 9 weeks and turns it into a line. So clearly that's a dynamic moving average. It's a dynamic average. Well, it's a moving average. So it's not a static average, it's a moving average. And it looks at the previous 9 bars and just averages them out, and you get a line. So a lot of people use the 200-day SMA, right? 200 simple moving average. So you can see it took 200 days just to produce the first mark on it. and then it's continued. And you can see, you know, generally speaking, if Bitcoin's above the 200 SMA, then it's going up. I mean, it hardly ever spends any time below the 200 SMA, and only really in the last bull run and a little bit for the COVID dump did it indeed get below the 200 SMA. So you may think about that. Or if you thought, well, actually, I want something a bit more predictive in its value, well, then you can just put on, say, change it to 100 periods, so 100 SMA. So, yeah, now you're talking, so I can see it started here. Price was above it, price was going up. When the price was below it, price came down. So if I was going to invest along here, if I was going to choose when to buy, good, right? And then you think, okay, yeah, but how do I know if that's a good thing to do? And that's where AI comes in, because that in itself is kind of a strategy, but it's not one you could, well, you could actually with this one, because it's quite easy to backtest. So you could look at the point that you enter, look at the point that you exit, see what you made, and do it for each of the entries. Write it down on a piece of paper, and there you go, you've backtested your strategy, okay? Or you can just get AI to do it for you. And when you get more complicated strategies, that's when doing, excuse me, a paper backtesting, it's just too time consuming. So like, for example, if I was to, instead of have this as 100, just have it as 10, makes the whole thing a bit more complicated. So there, the price was above, then it was below, then it was above, then it was below, above, below, above, pretty much the whole way up there, below, 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 right? So to paper backtest that would just be a bit of a nightmare, okay? But let's now say you've decided to do a strategy based on, I'm going to change it again, a 50 SMA. So you say, right, I'm happy with that. It looks quite good on the screen, but I want to know if it actually works. So if you go over to Claude, this is it's an AI run by a company called Anthropic. I think I've said that correctly. Others are available, and I'm in no way, I'm not on the payroll or even involved with Claude. But yeah, you just go to and just register your account. And this is how easy it is. Now, bearing in mind that if you wanted to make your own trading strategy on TradingView, you need to be able to code in Pine script, right? I can't code. I haven't got time to learn that stuff. Watch this. So I just say to Claude, I want a trading strategy is the 50 SMA sentence, right? So this is a large language model that can do text to code, it can do text to all sorts of things, all right? The original large language models, which haven't been around for very long, were just text to text. So you put in a text question, it gives you a text response, but they've got so better. And obviously Stable Diffusion can do text to picture, blah, 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 right? So watch this. It says various things. I understand you're looking for a trading strategy that encompasses a 50 days simple moving average on TradingView. Here's the basic strategy, blah de blah, blah de blah. All right, so it's done all this. I didn't even tell it how I want to enter and exit the trades. It says the indicator is going to be a 50-day SMA, a buy signal when the price crosses above, and a sell signal when the price crosses below, and blah de blah. So all you do then, this is the code over here, my short code. Copy the contents of that, go over to your trading view, move your head out of the way, go to Pine Editor, whatever's in here, just delete it. This is one I was working on earlier. You can see it was a bit more complicated. Complicated is not always better. So delete that, then literally copy and paste in the new PineScript code. Chart, save and add to chart, and very shortly you will see your trade strategy. And the great thing about this is, so I'll just move my head up here, sorry for moving my head around. What you'll see is it entered its first one here, long, right? So long means buy. I'm sure you know this, but I just want to make it clear. Long means buy, close entry there. And then there's a few bit of around average, and then there's one up there, and then there's no last entry for long was here. Okay, and so you can see that was what you were visualizing, or what I was visualizing before, but now it's doing it in a way that I can see the results, and you can see the results just by doing this. Now, forewarning, I know this won't be very successful. Doing this, just trading one moving average crossover, price crossover and moving average, isn't particularly good. I backtested them numerous times, but I'm just using it as a simple example. So you press that box, move my hand again. As if you go to overview, it actually gives you two things. This blue line is called the buy and hold, so that's what you would have made if you just bought and hold Bitcoin, right? So it would have been really good, right? If you'd used the trading strategy, then you also would have made money, but not as much as the buying and holding. The other good thing is you can see, okay, I only did 11 trades because it's a weekly time frame and Bitcoin's only been around for, 12, 13 years on TradingView. So not going to be very many weekly trades. It got, well, call it 35% of them right. And the profit factor was very high. So what that means is that even though, say, 1 out of 3 were good trades, for every pound or dollar or yen or whatever currency you're doing it in that you lost, you made back 4.172. So that then gives you an overall profitable trade strategy. And then you can see a breakdown of the trades into loss ratios. You can do all sorts of things. How many bars in the average trade, in losing trades. There's lots of data, and you can actually see the trades. So you can see the trades. There's only in there, and so that is as simple as that. And that the video is taken 14 minutes, but to actually produce a trade strategy with that you would normally have to know PineScript to code into TradingView, you can do it with AI like that. And you can do this for many different ones. So I know this is a bit of a long video, but I just want to show you how you can improve, all right? Let's say you thought, oh, I thought that was going to be good, but it's actually a bit rubbish. So I'd be better off just buying and holding Bitcoin, which you would with this trade strategy. So then you go back to Claude and you say, this strategy as it isn't profitable enough. Excuse my slow typing. So just put that in. It says, I understand you want to improve it. Let's explore some options. I didn't even say, I mean, I could have said, you know, add in a momentum indicator like the RSI or stochastic or MACD or awesome oscillator. There's loads and loads of them. But no, I just said I want to improve it. And what did it come up with? So I haven't done this before. This is literally live. So it said I've updated the strategy with several improvements may help increase profitability. A dual moving average crossover. So instead of using 150 SMA, we now use two SMAs, a faster one, 20 period, and a slower one, 50 period. This may help you capture trends more effectively. And you can customize the SMA periods so you can experiment with it. And then it's put in an ATR-based stop loss, which is average true range. I'm not going to go into what that is now. Basically, people use this as a stop loss. I've added a dynamic stop loss on an ATR and a trailing stop. And both long and short positions, you can choose to just go long or short. Now, I have noticed sometimes the more complicated the coding becomes, it does sometimes get a little bit glitchy when you pop it onto TradingView. I'm trying to move this out of the way, but failing massively. But I'm just going to copy it again down here, back over to TradingView, back to Pine Editor. I'll move my head again. Back to Pine Editor. Delete what was already there and paste in the new one. Update chart. And there it is, straight on. You can see it's a bit more complicated. You can see that it did a short hit. So this wouldn't be an investment. This is more of a trading strategy where you short price rather than just looking for buying opportunities if you're investing. So it's short, then it went long, now it's shorted, and then long, short, long, short, long, okay? So it looks good, but you don't know until you look at the actual data. And remember, to get the data, you go into Strategy Tester, and you can see here the equity curve. Now, what's interesting about this is it's actually less effective than the previous one, the simple one. And you can see that from the shape of the equity curve and indeed the statistics. So it's got a lower profit factor and a lower percentage profitable. So you can go back and say, no, that wasn't successful. Please include a MACD as a momentum indicator, and it'll put it into a trading strategy for you. And I've done this a few times and I've got some great results. So I'll just quickly show you. Now, you have got to remember, and I should say this, be remiss of me not to say this, this is obviously data all produced on historical price action, but I mean, that's what all indicators do. So it's almost a bit pointless pointing it out. But everywhere in TradingView, you'll see when backtesting strategies, the historical data that you gain is no guarantee of future, of the future, right? So you come up with a trade strategy that's really good based on historical data. There's no guarantee it will act in the same way in the future. And of course, that needs to be said, but of course it's logic, because there may be for some reason that Bitcoin decides it's not going to behave in the same way it has done for the last 13 years. I mean, I don't know why it would, but let's just say there was. And in that case, you wouldn't be able to rely on the statistics that you've generated with your back testing on TradingView. And that's totally fine. You just have to know that. But I'll just show you one of mine now quickly. So I got a few, right? But I'll just show you one that I did earlier on today. I think it was for Tesla? Yeah, I think it was for Tesla. So it's on it's on a daily time frame. This one. It's quite busy. I think I can manage this. And then if I go to the backup, so you can see this is the equity curve, right? So this is, and I set all mine to start from $100. It's just arbitrary. So this is starting at $100 over 70 trades, ending up with $3,000 using this strategy on Tesla. It's correct, or it gets a profitable trade 4 out of every 10, but each profitable trade is 4 times more profitable than a losing trade, which is why it's an equity curve. It's more like a graph, really, an equity graph that goes up and to the right. And that's what you're after, really. And I just did that using Claude. I can't code. I'll show you the code for it. If you go to Pine Editor, so it's not actually that complicated. There's only 36 lines of code. But anyway, I still wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know what any of this means. I could learn, but why bother when an AI can do it for you? Maybe you'll frown upon such a comment, but that's fine. And good for you if you learn how to do it yourself. But at the end of the day, what this does is it takes a bit of the psychology out of trading and investing, because it's there for you on a chart. You just follow what it says because you've created it and you've got the backtesting in statistical form that you can then follow, and you'll know roughly what's going to happen going forward. So it makes trading and investing much easier to have a backtested strategy, and I would recommend it to you all. However you go about doing that is entirely up to you. I've gone through many different iterations from paper backtesting to a different way of doing it to this, but now AI is here and it just does it for you. It's so simple. This is already a really long video, so thank you so much for staying with me. I'll take literally 1 minute to look at Bitcoin price action from today and no longer. And so here we go. Got a blank screen, that's Tesla. So yeah, Bitcoin daily, it's no real change from yesterday's video. It's sort of hanging out at 54. I'll just give you 2 obvious numbers to think about as regards to upside and downside. So probably not worth discussing upside while Bitcoin's below 57, so quite far from where it is now. And obviously further downside below, call it 52. There we are, $5,000 range. It's easy as that. All right, take care, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and subscribe. If you like this sort of thing and you want me to do some more things like this, I can do them on anything, like, anything you can think of, coffee beans, whatever. I can look at a chart, make a reasonable, logical assessment of it, and then use various tools to come up with strategies. So yeah, if you like this sort of thing, then drop a comment and say, yeah, do more of that. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and join me tomorrow for Sunday. Yeah. Take care. Goodbye.